Welcome. I'm Debbie Pokornik, and this lovely lady with me is my wonderful partnerpreneur and the gifted channeler for these gatherings, Susan Hoskins. Since June 7th, 2023, we have been playing in Sweet Tea Channeling. In a recent meeting with our guide Christopher, we were asked to provide some sweet tea treats, sharing some of the nuggets that have been channeled and then heart bouncing how we can live that in Hoomadhi, which is the reality that we are creating right here where we live, right now. Christopher is willing to come in and share more insights on the nuggets when it feels appropriate. So we are quite excited for that. As a result, instead of our usual introduction, this one will be very brief. If this is the first Sweet Tea channeling that you are watching, we encourage you to go back and enjoy at least one of the previous introductions and channelings, especially if you have questions about what we are doing. We have already opened sacred space for this gathering, and we just want to remind you to call in your own spirit guides to assist in pulling out what is most important for you from what comes through. All right, our next nugget, we touched on briefly, but I want to share it anyway. There is no hierarchy. It is
Mm.
much more of a heterarchy where all beings are equal and we share in our collective consciousness. And then I have a sentence here that I actually, as I typed out the nuggets, really wondered about. It is only when we are together that we evolve.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that feels like a mic drop.
Yeah.
So, anything you want to say about that piece?
Sure, sure. What I'd love to say about that piece is it takes, would you read that again? It takes all of us to evolve.
It is only when we are together that we evolve.
And was immediately coming to me was that sure, we can grow in our solitude, we can meditate, we can gain wisdom, but it is when we come together that we see the pieces of ourselves in one another.
Mm.
And we take those pieces to work with within ourselves to help us evolve. And so that's where I was loving that part a lot.
Hmm. As you know, you channel these beautiful messages through from Christopher, and then you type them all up, and then I take them and I actually uh, change them
Mhm.
to not hopefully never to lose the essence. And I really wondered there when I first wrote it out if I had missed something, if I had messed it up. But as I'm reading it, it is only when we are together that we evolve. I'm starting to realize we are doing this as a team,
Mhm.
all of us, right? And so when you look at it that way, it's saying if there is fighting amongst us, we're not evolving in that moment.
Mhm. Yeah, and what I'm getting from all that, and I you do a great job typing these up because they are real, and you've not lost the essence of anything. You've enhanced it. Yeah. So
Thank
what
you.
I feel is that part of our creating Humadi is to invite people to join us as we create this reality, because in truth we are all one. And so it takes each one of us realizing the beauty of who we are and sharing that with one another for us collectively to evolve into the next dimension, if you will, of existence. And so
Y-
that's how I see it. I see it very much. What is that saying? One for all and all for one. I mean, that's really what it is.
Yes, I completely agree with that statement, and I love that. And I also feel like, for me anyway, it was one of the no, not the first, but it's where I'm actually bringing in Christopher and Sammy and all of the, I mean, God, angels, guides, all of us are
Mhm.
evolving. And that was the part I think I was questioning because to me, they're evolved. There is no evolving for them. But what we're doing here is creating more evolution of consciousness.
Mhm.
That might not be. I mean, I don't know if consciousness itself can evolve, but it can play the game and it can have a lot of fun.
I,
Um,
you know, I'm wondering, I want to ask the question. I think all of life, even including our angels, guides, master teachers, all of us are evolving, I think. Because let's look at it this way. Okay, I was just thinking as you were talking about this, I'm thinking about the people who don't choose to live the way we do, who still want to be immersed in the gunk.
right.
Okay, what happens with that? When I'm living in this consciousness, I can love them and they're helping me to evolve by witnessing what they're doing, if you will, because I don't want to do that anymore. And that was a piece of me before. So that helps me evolve. All what they're doing helps me evolve. What we're doing helps me evolve. And I think I'm not so sure that even though our master teachers are complete evolved beings, that somehow as we create this new consciousness with them, maybe we redefine what the word evolve even means.
Hmm. Well, and that you're bang on with what I am feeling as well. It's the first time that I'm really seeing, I think, the whole mosaic, the whole picture and saying every little bit is important and is growing together.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love what you said there about, the people that are struggling in the gunk,
Mm-hmm.
that aren't consciously saying, boy, I love it here. I want to stay here. But they are content to just live their life the way it
Right.
is and to believe that to be all there is. And yet they are still of value,
Oh, yeah.
so to speak, to what all is happening. So as we raise our vibration, as we evolve and learn, they too are evolving and learning. They can't
Yeah.
help but be. That's life. Otherwise, you're dead, right?
Mm.
And maybe that's where I get caught up is the idea that living, like we know when we die that we take all the good things, good is the wrong word, all of the learnings that feel relevant to future learnings, and those become a part of us. And
Right.
all of the challenges or things that maybe didn't make it through, we didn't resolve them, become part of karma, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, and then if we reincarnate, if we come back in another life, we bring some of that with us. Oh, I'm getting myself kind of confused here. But what I want to say, because there will be some confusion in Hoomadhi, I just happen to be there. What I want to say is that are we in that moment where we become our soul, our oversoul, and we're not here on earth? Are we evolving or are we just waiting to see how the others evolve, that we evolve with them? There's a question there. There's something.
And I go back to things I've read before that say with our guides, often, our guides, we even have guides that are kind of new at being guides.
Yes.
So in working with us, they evolve and learn as well. And so that leads me to believe just our whole universe, our whole cosmos, we're all evolving into something greater together.
Yes.
So that's how I view it.
Well,
And
and that is exactly what I love that. I love what you just said. You said it so beautifully. So let's frame that and put it up on the wall. Because I do think we're all evolving together. Is there a way you can easily explain the difference between how we are evolving here on Earth and how all other non-living spiritual beings are evolving as well?
yeah, let's see. All right. Ah, it feels like a complicated question. But in fact, we again want you to think about it, much like the kaleidoscope you have seen before. All of consciousness, meaning all that is, does constantly evolve and change. All of life in its own way, in its own function, in its own being. You know from your experience on earth that when something no longer has a definitive purpose, it will either cease to be, but really it's not ceasing to be, it's morphing into something different. Even when the physical body dies, for example, it doesn't cease to be necessarily. It becomes nutrients for something else. That's a whole different discussion, just using that as a picture. So understand that your awareness and consciousness of even who we are is not completely accurate, because even we, your guides and teachers, master teachers, are so much more than you realize, because you are so much more than you realize. All life is much more than you currently realize. But as we grow in consciousness and love together, so many more things become possible, ways of being, thinking, acting, communicating. It's all constantly evolving into the next greatest version of itself. So sometimes you have trouble with this question because your image of who you call your guides, master teachers, angels, all of that is still using words for parts of you that have already developed, parts of you that have already evolved. For remember, we're one being having multiple life experiences in oh so many different forms. And so what if the energy inside of you, your divinity, is also currently expressing itself as that which you call an angel, guide, master, teacher, a different being from a different planet? What if it's all part of your divine spark? All of us, one being, having different experiences. So when you think of it in that way, you see that all parts of you, which are all parts of life, that which you see as animate and inanimate, it's all part of you, and all of it is changing and evolving together with greater levels of awareness and beingness. Does that help?
Yes, that is a lot to contemplate, but
Yeah.
it really does help. Yeah. Hmm.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, I had heard before through another channeler, and they said that, you know, the reason we know you're successful on Earth is that we are you.
Yeah.
Just we are you in a more advanced state.
Right.
And when Christopher said that here, it immediately had that little, where it kind of falls into place that even though here I am in Hoomadhi, even though for years now I've been opening my mind to all of this, I still have seen things as more separate
Mm-hmm.
than they are.
Right.
That is
Ah,
just like angel
true.
bumps all over.
Yeah, that was coming through so clear for me,
Mm,
because we always call in our guides and master teachers and angels, and that's so beautiful to do. But even the vision I get sometimes when I'm calling that in is limiting.
yeah.
Limiting is how I view that, how I view them. And that's why I love when it came to me as I started to channel, calling it the We Be It tribe. And it was kind of like, yeah, we be it. We be all of it.
There's a lot of little pieces to play with there.
There really are. I mean, what I'm taking away, and I hadn't thought about it before you brought up this question, is yeah, we are all evolving together because we are all. So, of course, there couldn't be parts of us that evolve and parts of us that are already there. It's all evolving into greater versions of us, which is all that is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have played with a lot of very interesting nuggets, and I hope that you're able to play with them too, and to bounce some of that with us. Even if you're not here physically talking to us right now, we'd love to have you here, just saying. But just to play with that a little bit in your life and see how you can be bringing Hoomadhi right here into your life right now, because that is what we have been asked to really do. Yes. And if you would like to join us live on the calls, then please send us an email at info.hoomadhi, HOOMADHI, at gmail.com. And we would absolutely love to have your energy here with us. But if you can't do that, as long as you're at least watching and playing on your own, then we appreciate and love that too.
And it is together, all of us, that we really do evolve and learn more of the truth of who we really are.